Have you ever met a guy who says, "I'm not really the emotional type," and then suddenly he's calling you just to hear your voice? It's not your perfume that got to him. He hit an emotional trigger he didn't even know was there. The truth is, men often think they're in control of their emotions, but beneath the surface, they're being drawn in by emotional forces they can't even control. I'm Vernon, and today we'll explore these 5 essential elements create the foundation for true emotional attachment in men. They're how you build real, lasting connection with a man without chasing, pretending, or playing games. Before we go any further, make sure to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications because we're uncovering these emotional truths that men often try to hide. You won't want to miss what comes next as we explore the 5 key elements that lay the foundation for true emotional attachment. Let's uncover how genuine emotional availability lays the groundwork for a lasting bond.
Number 1, the investment principle. There exists a profound paradox in human psychology that the ancient Stoics understood intuitively. We become most attached to that which we give to, not that which we receive from. The first condition for male emotional attachment operates on this counterintuitive principle. Men formed their deepest bonds through investment of their time, energy, and care, rather than through being cared for. Carol Rusbolt's groundbreaking investment model, developed at the University of North Carolina, revealed that emotional attachment strengthens in direct proportion to what we contribute to a relationship. When a man invests his effort, attention, and resources in someone, he unconsciously begins to value that person more highly, not because they've necessarily earned it through their actions, but because the investment itself creates psychological ownership and emotional stake. I witnessed this principle at work with my neighbor Gerald, a retired engineer who spent years casually dating after his wife's passing. Despite enjoying the company of several lovely women, he maintained emotional distance from all of them. Then he met Frances, a widow who was struggling to maintain her garden after a back injury. Gerald began stopping by to help with heavy lifting, then started researching the best plants for her soil conditions, eventually spending entire afternoons helping her redesign her landscaping. Within months, this man who had seemed incapable of emotional investment was completely devoted to Frances. "I don't understand it myself," he confided to me. "I've been out with women who were more beautiful, more interesting, better educated. But somehow, seeing Frances's garden flourish because of work I'd done, it made her matter to me in a way I hadn't expected." What Gerald had discovered unknowingly was the neurochemical basis of the investment principle. It's not about needing to be needed in an unhealthy way, but about the fundamental human drive to find meaning through service and contribution, a drive that creates emotional bonds as a natural byproduct. The philosopher Emmanuel Levinas wrote that the face of the other at each moment destroys and overflows the plastic image it leaves me. What he meant was that when we truly serve another person, we stop seeing them as an object and begin seeing them as infinitely valuable. This transformation from object to treasure is the foundation of genuine emotional attachment. Consider the relationships in your own life where you've witnessed the deepest male devotion. Notice how often they involve men who have invested significantly in their partner's well-being, dreams, or practical needs. This investment creates a psychological phenomenon researchers call effort justification, the mind's tendency to value more highly that which requires our investment. Understanding this principle doesn't mean becoming helpless or creating artificial needs. Instead, it means recognizing that by allowing someone to contribute meaningfully to your life and appreciating that contribution, you create an environment where emotional attachment can naturally flourish, something we will explore right now.
Number 2, recognition and respect. This attachment centers on a fundamental human need that becomes particularly acute in men as they age: the need to be seen, recognized, and respected for their essential nature and contributions. This goes far deeper than mere appreciation. It touches the core of identity and worth that every man carries, often silently, throughout his life. Aristotle observed in his Nicomachean Ethics that the highest form of friendship requires mutual recognition of virtue, seeing and honoring the best qualities in another person. For men, particularly those who have lived through decades of professional and personal challenges, this recognition becomes a prerequisite for emotional vulnerability and attachment. The psychological research supports this ancient wisdom. Studies from the University of Georgia found that men show significantly higher levels of relationship satisfaction and emotional bonding when they feel their fundamental character is appreciated by their partner. This isn't about constant praise or flattery, but about genuine recognition of their values, efforts, and the unique way they navigate the world. But this recognition must be authentic. Men, particularly those with life experience, have developed keen sensors for insincerity. The respect that creates attachment isn't performative admiration, but genuine appreciation for qualities that might not be immediately visible: his thoughtfulness in small matters, his integrity in difficult situations, his particular way of showing care even when it's not dramatic or obvious. My friend Robert, now in his 70s, described how he knew he was falling in love with his second wife, Margaret. She noticed that I always remembered to bring her coffee the way she liked it, even when I was rushing. Not just that I brought coffee, but that I paid attention to getting it right. Nobody had ever noticed that kind of thing about me before. This recognition often extends to honoring a man's past struggles and growth. Many men of our generation carry stories of overcoming challenges, learning from failures, or quietly persevering through difficult periods. When someone recognizes these journey marks not as weaknesses to be overlooked, but as evidence of character to be honored, emotional attachment often follows. Do you feel that being truly seen and respected has made a difference in your relationships? How important is it for you to be recognized for the quiet, consistent efforts you make? Share your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to hear about your experiences. Often, the recognition that creates deepest attachment isn't about celebrating grand achievements, but about seeing and honoring the consistent, quiet ways a man shows his character day after day. When someone truly sees these qualities and reflects them back with genuine respect, the conditions are ripe for profound emotional connection to develop. But respect isn't the only key. Emotional vulnerability also plays a major role in creating lasting attachment. Let's now dive into how allowing someone to truly open up without judgment lays the groundwork for even stronger bonds.
Number 3. Emotional safety and trust. With investment and recognition, the third condition reveals another counterintuitive truth about male emotional attachment. The capacity for vulnerability requires an environment of absolute trust and emotional safety.
For many men, particularly those shaped by cultural messages about strength and self-reliance, the willingness to become emotionally attached requires assurance that their authentic feelings won't be used against them. This safety isn't just about avoiding conflict. It's about creating an environment where a man's full emotional range can exist without judgment, manipulation, or withdrawal of affection. I completely changed when I met Helen at the age of 58 after going through a broken marriage for many reasons. Not because she demanded it or because I became weak, but because she had created such profound safety that my gentler qualities could emerge without compromising my essential dignity. With Helen, I don't have to perform strength. I can admit when I'm worried about something, or when I don't know the answer, or even when I'm scared. She doesn't lose respect for me. If anything, she seems to appreciate my honesty more than my certainty. This safety allowed me to develop an emotional attachment so deep, I still speak of Helen with the wonder of a man newly in love. But what creates this safety? Often it's found in how someone responds to a man's moments of imperfection or uncertainty. The woman who responds to his admission of doubt with problem-solving rather than reassurance might miss the mark. The one who responds to his mistakes with lectures rather than understanding may inadvertently signal that his authentic self isn't acceptable. This emotional safety often requires what psychologists call unconditional positive regard, the ability to maintain love and respect for someone independent of their performance or achievements. For men who may have spent lifetimes being valued primarily for what they could do or provide, experiencing love for who they are beneath all the doing can be profoundly transformative. The poet Rilke wrote, "Perhaps all the dragons in our lives are princesses who are only waiting to see us act just once with beauty and courage." For many men, the dragon is the fear that their authentic self won't be acceptable to someone they care about. When someone creates safety for that authentic self to emerge, complete with uncertainties, fears, and imperfections, the conditions are perfect for the kind of emotional attachment that transforms both lives. Number 4. Shared meaning and intellectual connection. Plato, in his famous dialogue The Symposium, described love as the recognition of one's other half, not merely in romantic terms, but in the sense of finding someone whose mind complements and enhances one's own understanding of existence. This intellectual kinship creates a form of attachment that transcends circumstance and deepens with time rather than diminishing. The research supports this philosophical insight. A longitudinal study from Yale University, following couples over 25 years, found that intellectual compatibility was the strongest predictor of lasting emotional attachment in men over 60. More than shared interests or similar backgrounds, the ability to engage in meaningful dialogue about values, purpose, and life's deeper questions created bonds that weather virtually any external challenge. While physical attraction might initiate connection, and emotional safety might deepen it, shared meaning often provides the foundation for lasting emotional attachment in men over 60. My good friend, Theodore, is a retired doctor who had always remained emotionally detached, even after several relationships following the death of his wife. He was intelligent, well-respected, and a pleasant person to be around, yet he struggled to build deeper emotional bonds. That changed when, at 72, he joined a philosophy discussion group and met Vivian, a retired English professor who had a passion for exploring existential questions. Their connection began through debates about meaning and mortality that would have been depressing to most people, but were invigorating to both of them. Vivian challenges my thinking in ways that make me more myself, not less, Theodore told me months into their relationship. When I express an idea, she doesn't just agree or disagree. She helps me discover what I really mean, what I really believe, beneath what I thought I believed. This intellectual intimacy created emotional attachment in Theodore that surprised everyone who knew him. Neuroscience research helps explain why. When men engage in meaningful intellectual exchange with someone they respect, their brains release cocktails of dopamine and endorphins that create both pleasure and bonding. The mind literally becomes attached to minds that enhance its own function. But shared meaning goes beyond intellectual conversation. It includes alignment on life's fundamental questions. What makes existence worthwhile? How should we treat others? What legacy do we want to leave? What does it mean to live well? When a man finds someone whose answers to these questions resonate with his own, or whose different answers intrigue and enrich his thinking, emotional attachment often follows naturally. What's your experience with intellectual connections in relationships? Do you think shared meaning plays a key role in emotional attachment? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If you found this video insightful, don't hesitate to share it with a friend or loved one who might appreciate it. Let's spread the knowledge and start meaningful conversations together. The shared meaning that creates attachment often includes complementary perspectives rather than identical ones. When we consider the three conditions we've explored, investment, recognition, and safety, alongside this fourth element of shared meaning, we begin to see how emotional attachment in men builds like a carefully constructed edifice, each element supporting and strengthening the others. But there remains one more condition, perhaps the most fundamental of them all, that we must understand to complete our exploration of how men form lasting emotional bonds.
Number 5. Physical and intimate connection. This isn't merely about sexual desire, though that certainly plays a part, but about the profound neurochemical and emotional bonding that occurs through appropriate physical connection. The ancient Greek physician Hippocrates understood what modern science has confirmed. The human body and mind are inseparably connected, and emotional attachment often requires physical expression to reach its full development. For men, this connection operates through specific hormonal pathways that create what researchers call biochemical bonding, literal changes in brain chemistry that occur through physical intimacy. These aren't just pleasant feelings, they're neurochemical changes that literally rewire the brain to associate a specific person with safety, pleasure, and home. My friend Lawrence, a widower who had struggled to form new emotional attachments after his wife's death, experienced this transformation firsthand.
After years of what he called pleasant companionship with various women, he met Dorothy, and their relationship gradually developed all the elements we've discussed: investment, recognition, safety, and shared meaning. But Lawrence insisted he still felt emotionally distant, still found it easy to imagine life without her. Then, after many months of growing closeness, their relationship became physically intimate. It was like someone had turned on a light I didn't know had been off, Lawrence told me later. Suddenly, Dorothy wasn't just someone I enjoyed being with, she had become someone I couldn't imagine being without. The physical closeness created an emotional attachment that all our conversations and shared experiences hadn't quite achieved. Physical intimacy creates particularly strong neural pathways associated with attachment, literally changing how the brain processes thoughts and feelings about that person. This is why many men report that their emotional attachment deepened significantly after physical intimacy became part of their relationship. But it's crucial to understand that this physical connection must occur within the context of the other 5 conditions. Physical intimacy without investment, recognition, safety, and shared meaning often creates only temporary chemical bonds that fade when the novelty wears off. However, when physical connection is the culmination of these deeper foundations, it often creates lasting emotional attachment. This doesn't necessarily mean sexual activity, though that certainly can be part of it. Simple physical affection, holding hands, embracing, sleeping close together, can create powerful bonding effects. Physical intimacy, when it occurs within the context of genuine emotional connection, often facilitates this transformation from it to thou, from seeing someone as separate from ourselves to experiencing them as an essential part of our own well-being. When all 5 conditions exist together, investment, recognition, safety, shared meaning, and physical connection, they create what researchers call secure attachment in men. This secure attachment is characterized by a deep sense of peace, a natural desire to prioritize the other person's well-being, and an ability to weather life's inevitable challenges together. It's not neediness or dependency, but a mature form of emotional bonding that enhances rather than diminishes both individuals.
As we reach the end of our exploration together, I'm reminded of something the Roman poet Ovid wrote nearly 2,000 years ago. We are always striving for things forbidden and coveting those denied us. Yet the 5 conditions we've examined today reveal the opposite truth about emotional attachment. It flourishes not in forbidden or denied territories, but in the fertile ground of genuine connection, mutual respect, and authentic vulnerability. Each condition alone has power, but together they create something remarkable: the possibility for profound emotional bonding in the later chapters of life. But perhaps more importantly, understanding these conditions offers something invaluable: clarity. If you've wondered why certain relationships flourished while others withered despite good intentions on both sides, these patterns may provide answers. If you've questioned why someone seemed to pull away emotionally just when things appeared to be deepening, perhaps one or more of these conditions was missing from the equation. For those currently in relationships, these insights offer a roadmap for deepening connection. For those seeking new connections, these conditions offer wisdom about what to look for and what to nurture. Rather than waiting for attachment to develop mysteriously over time, you can recognize when the essential elements are present or when they're conspicuously absent.
The human heart, whether at 20 or 80, continues its eternal quest for meaningful connection. If you found this video valuable, please hit the like button, share it with someone who could benefit, and comment below with your thoughts on emotional connections. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss out on more wisdom to help you navigate the journey of life and love. Let's keep these conversations going and continue fostering meaningful bonds together. And I'm Vernon. Thanks for watching my video.